always in the way. This is always in the way. Hello, huns. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, just welcome in general. I haven't started off a YouTube video with that intro in such a long time. Honestly, I don't really have intros anymore. I just kind of jump straight into it, straight into the thick of it. You know, you're here for a reason, and the reason why you're here is to hear my brilliant book recommendations. I'm very much confident with my book recommendations because I feel like the books that I recommend are easy to read. They aren't too complex. They have great plots, great storyline, brilliant characters, loads of fucking sex. Anyway, today we're doing my top 5, that's right, my top 5 favorite standalones of all time. Now, I have tons of favorite books and tons of favorite series as well, and I have recommended them already. I filmed one months ago. I think it was like 9 months ago, my favorite bingeable romance series. I'll put the little Duvalaki up here, so if you want to watch that, you can. I do have more now. I've discovered more since I filmed that video, but the problem is a lot of my favorite books are a part of series. I don't have that many favorite standalones. But I was thinking the other day, like if I had to pick 5, what would they be? So I thought, you know, fuck it, let's do a video about it. If you're a standalone whore, then you're gonna absolutely love this video because I'm gonna give you straight up facts. Tell you where to go to get a good fucking standalone. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Here's my first recommendation. I literally just mentioned this and recommended this in my Penelope Douglas author video that I did, and I've mentioned this and recommended it tons of times. This is hands down one of my favorite books I have ever read and is in my top 5. That's why I'm featuring it in this video. This is Credence by Penelope Douglas. Oh my god, hun, was I obsessed with this book? This was one of those books that took me out of reality, and I felt like I was in this book. You know when you see those TikToks of people saying, let me show you the aesthetic of this book, and it's all these like Pinterest images? That's what I felt when I read this book. So briefly, without giving anything away, this is about a young girl who grew up with parents that didn't necessarily love her as much as they love each other. And then her parents actually commit suicide because one of them, I believe, is sick and doesn't want to live without the other one, so they end up killing themselves. And this poor girl is left without parents. She's completely lost, doesn't know who she is, what she wants out of life. She's not happy, she's not in a good place. Her step uncle that she's never met before and who is not actually related to her contacts her after her parents die. Hey, I'm your step uncle. You don't know me, I don't know you, but your parents actually named me as your guardian in the will. So I live in the mountains in Colorado with me, myself and I and my 2 youngest sons. And I just want to let you know the offer is on the table if you want to come and live with us. At first, she's really hesitant, and then she decides, fuck it, what have I got to lose? I don't have anything. May as well just go up in the mountains, man, and hang out with these 3 dudes. So that's what she does. Now, this isn't a reverse harem book at all, but she does get romantically involved with all 3 of the male characters in this book, her step uncle and her 2 step cousins. Some of the most steamiest scenes I've ever read are in this book, like vagina flutters, baby. Like, I kid you not, you know I don't talk bullshit here on my channel. Like, this shit gets it going, okay? You're gonna be feeling some type of way if you read this book. When I finished this book, I literally cried because I was overcome with so much joy, but I was also heartbroken that I finished this book. Even though it's not a reverse harem, it is a little bit of a love triangle to a certain degree. Brilliant, I love it. So many people don't like this book. People go on about Punk 57 and Birthday Girl, which I love Birthday Girl, but this, honestly, is the best. You cannot tell me otherwise, hun. Like, you just fucking can't. I'm sorry about it. Penduggy, baby. Credence. Honestly, I don't think this would be a top favorite video if I didn't recommend this book. This is Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. This is hands down one of my favorite standalones I have ever read. This is my most read book in my entire book collection. I own it on ebook. I own the Audible version and I also own the paperback. I love balance, but this is a standalone. She does have a short novella that follows this story, but you can just read this and not read the novella if you don't care to. But I have to recommend this. You guys know how much I love this book. So Hush Hush is about a young 21-year-old girl who lives with her best friend in New York City. She's currently at college and she's struggling financially. She ends up finding out that her best friend is an escort, a high-end, like elite prostitute, and she goes into battle with herself and her best friend, contemplating if she wants to take on that role and go into the escorting business. She eventually does, obviously, and she tells all the tales and the struggles of being an elite escort. The one thing I love about this book is the friendship between the main character and her best friend. It's hilarious, very relatable. Like, bitch, I know these girls, you know, I've done some shit like these girls have and I totally relate to them. There's one rule when it comes to being an escort. In the business, you are not allowed to fall in love with your clients. But this one right here, she does just that. And the client that she falls for is 52 years old. I have recommended this so many fucking times. It's my favorite book of all time. Honestly, I love it so much. And I know quite a few of you have DNF'd this, but I just want to say it is a little slow at the start, but don't stop. You've got to meet James Riviera. Once you do, the whole book changes. I also want to add that this does have a massive plot twist in the book that you do not see coming. I'm not giving anything away about the plot twist, but you will die when you get to the plot twist, babe. I was fucking squealing, bitch. I was squealing. I love this book and I love Lucia. She's a dear, dear friend of mine. She's brilliant and I've never read a book like this before and I don't think anyone can ever write a book like this ever again. This is top tier romance right here, baby. I have to recommend a book from Amaro just because she is my favorite author, but I will say that I like her series better than the standalone I'm about to recommend, but I do love this standalone. This here is Sicko. Now, you guys have seen this so many times. You've seen all these books so many times, but as I said, I'm just doing like a wrap up of my favorites. My top 5 favorites. Sicko is definitely, to me, top tier dark romance. It was the first book I read from Amaro. It fucking rocked me, man. I spun out. I was just like, what did I just read? It is heavy. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. This is super, super dark. Some people try and read this after I've recommended it and message me and be like, you're right, it is dark. When I say it's a dark romance, hun, I mean it's a dark romance. This is about Jade and Royce. They're actually foster siblings. And even as children, they have a very unique relationship. It's very awkward. Lines are blurred. But it is beautiful and very steamy. Even though they don't fuck when they're younger, bitch, the sexual chemistry is there. Goddamn foster siblings. Royce ends up leaving town, not speaking to Jade for years. And then when he comes back, he is now involved in a motorcycle club and his nickname is Sicko. But Jade is not the girl that he once knew. And there's a lot going on, a lot of dark stuff that's going on in her life. There is one sex scene in this book that I will never ever forget. It is brilliant. It is fabulous. It is one of my favorite sex scenes I've ever fucking read. It is a threesome with 2 dudes and Jade. Oh my god, it's so good. But as I said, do not go into this blind, as in not taking on my fucking warnings, because this is dark, baby. You know how I love a dark read. This is really dark. It's one of those books that you'll read and then at the end you'll just be like, what the fuck did I just read? I read this in one sitting. If you do like this book, because it's not for everyone, some people will love it, some people will hate it, but if you do love this book and you haven't read anything else from Amaro, read her backlist after this because it will not disappoint you. So there's the first 3 of my top favorite standalones that I own in paperback. The other 2 I actually don't. So the next one we have is Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now I know a lot of people will say that either It Ends With Us or Ugly Love is their favorite standalone of all time. Bitch, no. This suspense romance is epic in the best way possible. This was the first book that I read from this like subgenre of suspense romance. I thought it was brilliant. I hadn't read and still haven't read anything even close. So Verity is about this girl who is actually a writer. She's an author, and she's been hired to ghostwrite her favorite author's series because her favorite author has had an accident and is unwell and can no longer write. Her name is Verity, the author, and Verity's husband tells the main character, like, hey, you should come to our house, go through my wife's office, try and find her manuscripts and stuff, just so you can get to know her writing and also like get to know her as a person, so you can do the best of your ability to ghost write the series and complete it. So that's what the main character does. She goes to this house and it's creepy vibes instantly, and she stays there and studies Verity. But in the mix of, you know, learning about her writing, learning about her, she stumbles across Verity's biography that she has written. That's all I'm saying, because I went in completely freaking blind with this and it blew my fucking mind. There's a love interest. You'll find out. I'm telling you, I was reading this late at night and I had to close the book because it was creeping me out. At one point I went when I read it, because there was a scene that made me, like, I freaked out, like it scared me. It is definitely like a thriller romance. So if you're someone that likes thrillers but you also love a good romance, this is brilliant. I love it, and I still to this day haven't been able to find anything that's even close to it. And the last standalone I'm going to talk about is No Tomorrow by Carian. This is a book that I will never read again, unless it's 25 years down the track and I want to revisit, but this book has never left me. This book really broke me. I could cry, like I literally could cry. So pretty much it's about this girl called Piper. She's, you know, just your average girl in her 20s, and she ends up falling in love with a homeless musician. Their love is extraordinary, something very rare. And even when they first hook up, they know instantly that their love is gonna ruin them. And it does. Down the track, they end up going their separate ways. It's a few years down the track. They have had no contact, and Piper actually hears Blue playing on the radio, and he's now famous. When I read this, I read it within 2 days, and I finished it at 2:30 in the morning, and I honestly sat outside the front of my house. This is something that I do often because I am a smoker. In the middle of the night, I had a cigarette in my hand, and I was just looking at the stars, and I was just like, what the fuck did I just read? Like, what was that? My heart hurt. It physically hurt. Like, I felt like that book happened to me. There's a lot of topics and there's a lot of situations in this book that I feel like a lot of people could relate to. I know I could. I'm not a musician. I've never fallen in love with a musician before, but there is a lot of stuff in this book that I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I've lived through that. I know people like that. Some of the book was difficult to read because it was just so relatable. But that's what made it one of my favorite books of all time, because I hadn't read a book that I actually could physically, emotionally connect with the way that I did. And it is a tearjerker, baby. I cried multiple times throughout this book, and you know that I don't cry easy when it comes to books. Like, if you make me fucking cry in a book, you are special. You have a way with words like no one else does. Alright, so that's my top 5 favorite standalones of all time. I want to know yours. So in the comment box down below, please list your top 5, no more than 5, favorite standalones of all time. I cannot wait to see what you guys recommend and see if I've read them, and if I haven't, I definitely will. Maybe I could even film a video about it. Reading my followers' top 5 favorite romances. That could be such a fucking vibe. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, a thumbs up the video. Helps me out so much. Don't leave before subscribing, because that is fucking rude if you do so, and watch the ads, because I'm poor and I need money right now. So if you watch them, I get money. Don't forget my social media links are down below in the description box, along with my merch. So if you want to buy any of my merch, we can be twins, bitch, you can just do so down below. Also, I have more merch coming, and I'm in love. You're gonna die. These new hoodies that are coming, and t-shirts, I've made t-shirts too, fire, baby, fire. They'll probably go live next month. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one.